Hey everybody, Dr. K here coming to you from Integrative Health Management. I'm going to talk about caffeine today and coffee, a couple little side notes here. But who here can't live without coffee? Who here can't live without caffeine? I have been drinking coffee for a long time, but I've recent cut back. Quite a while ago, I have cut back because of some of the things that it causes. So I'm not just even talking about coffee, I'm talking about stimulants. Like who here can't live without the caffeine and really need the caffeine in the morning, like energy drinks, teas that have caffeine in them, soda, your Pepsi, your Coke, all those have caffeine, and a slew of other things that I'll maybe talk about in another video. But all those things are stimulants, and my focus really is on caffeine in general because all these things have caffeine, and caffeine is a stimulant. Any way you cut it, it's a stimulant. And so when there's a stimulant, it puts the body, let's just say it puts a body into fight or flight response. It increases the stress. So here is the loop that starts happening that's really fascinating. So when you have a stimulant such as caffeine in any way, however you get that, coffee, soda, caffeinated teas, energy drinks, etc., the 5-hour whatever things that you drink just to get that boost, it is increasing ACTH, which is produced by your adrenal glands, which is adrenocorticotropin hormone, which increases cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Cortisol, like when somebody's stressed, it can be really bouncy and it can cause so many issues. One of the biggest ones is weight gain. So when you get that belly right in front and you're not kind of dealing with it, that's a lot of times what cortisol is doing. It's doing a whole lot of biochemical things in your body. It's causing that belly that you got or weight gain in general. So best to really, get rid of the caffeine, and that can be a little challenging sometimes. But so this is what starts happening when we are so stressed in our worlds that our adrenal glands are released. Those are the glands in our body that are constantly running and in a fight or flight. We're not meant to stay in the fight or flight response. We're not meant to stay in the response all the time. Like we got so much going on. So they're producing more and more cortisol. And so when your adrenals are taxed, then you get fatigued, overall flat down, fatigued. You don't wake up energized in the morning. You feel more tired. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Your cortisol peaks somewhere around 8:30 to 9 in the morning. So actually, if our cortisol is being pumped out properly, we should technically kind of be waking up somewhat naturally caffeinated. So you don't really want to drink coffee first thing in the morning or any kind of an energy drink early in the morning, around those hours or even a little bit before, because you're just creating more increase of cortisol. So it's just kind of like fueling the fire. So ideally, we want to bring that cortisol down. So if you're absolutely going to have the caffeine, the drink, somewhere around 9:30 to 11:30, and then after that, I really wouldn't, because your cortisol will peak again somewhere in late evening, somewhere around 4:30 to 6:30, in that range. Your cortisol is meant to peak again. So then if you're having coffee later in the afternoon, again, it just becomes a vicious cycle. So you're just pouring gas on the fire. So ideally, it's really best to just find the root of the problem so you don't have to have the caffeine so much and you don't need the coffee. If you just like the taste of coffee and you kind of just like that, then switch to, decaf. Here's a little side note about coffee though as well. Heavily pesticided, if that's a word. So you really want to try to get an organic coffee. There's lots of chemicals that go into making coffee. Coffee is one of the highest, kind of pesticide-filled, toxin-filled items, kind of on the board there. So get an organic coffee. They have organic coffee. You can grind it yourself. Or, really, if you're just looking for the taste, get that. But if you're looking for the boost of caffeine, we have to figure out why you need it. There's actually other ways to get you that energy and balance things out. So the first thing we do is look at your nutrition level, because, if you don't have the right nutrition and you're stressed and you're being depleted, then it becomes a vicious cycle. And looking at your cortisol levels, and we can measure that. That's something we can measure through your saliva, really easy. And so that's another thing. Check your inflammation. There's just lots of other things we could do. My cat's here saying hello. But if you're looking for other alternatives, something like Herbamate, which still has some caffeine. If you absolutely can't go without the caffeine, do something that has a little more antioxidants. And coffee does have antioxidants if you get a nice, really good organic blend. But something like Herbamate has some caffeine, but a lot of antioxidants, so that's helpful. Green tea, like a matcha tea, is really great too. It helps with weight loss and helps with antioxidants as well, and gives you a natural boost. Eating your greens, like really nutrition, totally. You shouldn't be waking up tired. You should wake up pretty, energized. So there's a slew of insomnia things that we need to look at. Exercising, eating protein in the morning, drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning before your coffee, before any of that energy stuff. You're just depleting yourself. Another thing that caffeine does is it will dehydrate you, and that makes the adrenals work a little harder. So it's just this, kind of vicious cycle of things that starts happening. Checking your vitamins. And the other thing, if we balance out your B vitamins, that's the other thing that would probably give you a whole lot of energy. And I've seen it happen. I've used it. It's really, really, really helpful to look at your B vitamins and check those. So there's various ways that I, go through and check what your nutritional status is and what you're lacking, and looking at the cortisol level, so we can kind of see what's going on inside the body and start fixing that. So maybe you don't need so much coffee, and maybe that's just like a little treat that you have once or twice a week or on the weekend, or we just eliminate it completely because you don't need those energy drinks anymore because you feel great regardless. Reprioritizing things too. So really, I think it's best if we can get rid of the coffee for you. That would be best, to get rid of the need for your stimulant and find out why you need the stimulant so much, because that could be a very simple vitamin fix, maybe a little bit of a hormonal fix, maybe just simple nutrient fix. A lot of times these things are really simple fixes. We just got to look a little deeper. So if you have any questions, if I can help, if you want to chat, we can look into that and see what's going on. You can message me via email, drk@ihmohio.com. You could post a message below. You can direct message me as well through Facebook here, and let me know what's going on, and let's check in and see if we can just really fix this really simply for you, because that would be pretty cool, and it's happened, so we can do it. So till we chat next time, take good care.